Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so blessed with this podcast. My objective when I started was to guide people on the spiritual journey, to simplify spirituality, and I just love all the messages I get on a weekly basis, just confirming that the podcast is really guiding people and it's reaching the people that need to reach it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone that's listening to regularly. Thank you for everyone that sends me messages. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Thank you for listening. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, and a spiritual coach and mentor. I love what I get to do. I get to guide people on their journey. Yes, through the podcast, but also through the mentorship program I have through Akashic Records. I help people understand their soul journey, what karma they've decided to release in this lifetime, help them, guide them to shine their light, to truly connect to why you're here. So if this resonates, if you feel I can help you, if my voice resonates with you, then please do reach out. So this week I thought I'd do something different. Every Thursday, the most Thursday episodes is with me and a guest. I've had the benefit and the beauty of interviewing so many beautiful, amazing guests who have so much spiritual knowledge. And today I thought and I felt it would be a good time for me to do an episode on my own. I do a monthly episode on my own where I channel an Akashic message. And that's very much channeled. And, the human in me is not really there. And this time I felt I should do an episode on my own. So let me know how this goes. Let me know how you feel. Obviously, it's something different. And if it resonates and you feel I should do more, please let me know. And let me know the topics that I should cover. Obviously, I love the interaction of a conversation, either with Stacey, which I release on Mondays, my co-host, or other guests. But I just thought I'd answer a question in this week's podcast, which I get asked the most. And the question I get asked the most is about listening to your messages, listening to your intuition. And so this week, I really want to talk about listening to the whispers and strengthening your intuition and connecting with your spirit guides. That is, receiving messages is really the number one question I get. And it's really interesting in terms of, a lot of people say, well, I don't receive messages. I don't have guides. And I'm here to tell you, again, my opinion, but I feel like we all have guides and we all are receiving messages, and we're receiving more messages than before. And when we start, a lot of our messages come through our intuition. And we all have intuition, right? And if you go back to some of the major decisions you've made, or even some of the conversations, and you wonder, well, where did that come from? That typically comes from your guides through your intuition. And the way you build your connection with your guides and the way that you kind of get more messages is you start by trusting and listening to your intuition. But a lot of the messages that come through your intuition are like whispers. They're not loud. They're not. Because what happens is you get intuitive messages through, and they're really quiet. Because your guides don't need to shout. But what happens is you get the whispers and your ego kicks in. Because, ego is not a bad thing. Everyone talks about, killing the ego, or whatever that means. I don't actually believe that. I feel like the ego is trying to help you. It's trying to keep you safe, not change. And, if you start listening to your intuitive messages, then you're going to start to shift and you're going to start to change. And your ego wants to keep you safe. So, recognizing the difference between a message from your ego and your message from your intuition. Your ego is always, when the messages come through, it's usually full of emotion. It's heavy. Whereas the whispers are light. But here's the thing, and they normally come in first. So when you ask a question, what's the first thing that what's the first response you get? And just check in with the energy of it. Is it light? And then take action on that first message. That is trusting your intuition. And the more you do that, the more that you start to build a connection with your guides, and the message is built. Because a lot of the time, it's our expectations of how these messages are going to come through. we listen to others, and you listen to this podcast, you listen to others. It's like other people hear things, other people see things, other people feel things. How your gifts and how your messages evolve over time is unique to you. But most people I talk to, they start with their intuition. I started with my intuition. So early in my journey, I started out very much in the corporate world, very, very much mental. And, I had somebody do some dark magic to me. It led me to being out of work for 2 years. And I was spiritual, I'm sure, but I hadn't really begun the spiritual part of that, of my journey. And when a friend asked me that she wants to go and see this religious lady, will I go with her? And intuitively, I said yes. I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't the sort of thing I do quite regularly, and then when I went to see the lady, she's the one that says somebody's done something to me. And that led me down a journey to get healed, and it opened me up to spirituality. I'm sure there's many lessons, many times I've trusted my intuition before that, but that's where I started. And by the way, through this podcast near the end, I will do an activation. I'll do a meditation where I'll intentionally connect you to some of your guides. Just something I would add to the end. It just feels right and connected to talk about your guides and your intuition, and then connect you to them through an activation. So I'll do that near the end. But again, to confirm, your soul has picked your guides. Before you incarnate into your physical body, your soul already knows what it's here to experience. Whether it's through karmic release, your personal karma or ancestral karma, it knows what it's here to release. And this is where soul contracts come from. If you're here to experience something, maybe it's love, maybe it's pain, you find other souls to have a soul contract with, to have that experience. And when you incarnate into your physical body, all those soul contracts and what you're here to experience will get translated into your physical body. But obviously, if you remembered what you're here to experience, and if it's painful, your ego will get in the way and you'd resist it, which is where you have the veil of amnesia. So you don't remember, you go through this journey, but the veil gets thinner and thinner over time. But also at the same time, your soul will pick your guides. And I do feel like in this incarnation I do feel like we have a different set of guides for many of us, maybe along with some that we've had for a few lifetimes, because we're here to experience something that's never been done before. The shift that's happening on the planet, I feel, is more extensive than anything we've been through before. This is why I felt this podcast was important, to talk about our intuition, talking about the messages that we're receiving. So, you do have a set of guides. And it's important that you understand that actually the connection with your guides is a partnership. It's a co-creation. They need you just as much as you need them. They need you to have the human experience. And also, you can't assume they know everything, because not all of them have had a human experience. They don't understand what you're going through, which is why sometimes it's overwhelming, because they give us so much information we can't handle it. So we have to also guide our guides. But you start and you do that by truly starting to listen to your intuition and listen to your messages. And leave your expectations at the door, because again, it's just, I'm not receiving messages because I'm not hearing anything, I'm not seeing anything. That's your ego speaking. That's your expectations of what messages look like. And that's because you are also comparing yourself to others. Start by listening to your intuition. And again, I'll repeat, what that looks like is just asking a question and getting a response and feeling the energy of it. If it feels light, then it's coming from your guides, it's coming from your intuition. If it feels heavy, then it's likely coming from your ego. And switch from I think to I feel. Because the messages from your guides, your intuition, is not going to come from your head. It's not going to come from how you think, because your think is your history. When you ask, how do you feel, that's coming from your heart. And it's really interesting. If you start to recognize and start to be curious when you hear things, just feel it. Is this coming from my ego? Is it coming from my soul? Is it coming from my guides? Is it my intuition? You'll know. There's a knowingness in you. And again, if your ego gets involved, this is where you start to have a debate. Yeah, it sounds like it's coming from my soul, but could it be my ego? it is a leap of faith, right? So many of us want to get like a deep confirmation that this is definitely a message from our guides, and we test our guides, and you just, what are you achieving when you test your? You can do that for sure. Give me a message, whatever that feels like, and trust. Because here's the thing: it's like sometimes when you do that, you're expecting them to fail. You're almost expecting them not to come through. Whereas if you truly trust magic's going to happen, you let go of how the message is going to be delivered. Then you open yourself up to magic. I love asking my guides every morning to show up and show off. But how they do that, I let go of. So if you're going to ask your guides to show up for you, then let go of what that looks like. Because you also got to bear in mind, your guides are here to guide you. They love you unconditionally. They're here to hold your space. But also, many times they can't help you unless you ask them. So this is where you get to know your guides. You start to trust your intuition. You take time to feel energies and vibrations around you. The other thing we do quite often is we ask for names, and we get frustrated when we go down. You're not always going to hear a name. And sometimes the names of your guides are something you won't be able to pronounce. Give them a name if you wish. If you feel an energy regularly around you, then give a name that feels right to you. Let your guide know, and many times your guide will tell you whether they accept that name or not. But we all have a spirit team. We all have a set of guides. We also have a higher self, and our higher self walks beside us all the time. But again, do you need to know right now in this stage every one of your guides individually? What if for now you just took a trustful and trusted that you are being guided, you are being held, and start by trusting your intuition? If you're further along the path, then for sure, feel the different energies around you. Get used to how your guides feel, because they all have a different energy and a different vibration. And also bear in mind that we get our answers to our questions in so many different ways. Yes, through our intuition, but also be open to your answers coming through your dreams, through your meditations, through conversations you have with others, because I feel like so many times that other people's guides will talk through me. I allow that to happen, so I guess that's part of my journey, but be open to magic and your answers coming in so many different ways. Like I said, it's your expectations of how your messages come through that causes that frustration, it causes that blockages. But if you can trust and know and accept that your guides are there, and I know it's a trustful, I know it's a leap of faith. And if you can commit to at least once a day trusting your intuition, asking a question and just trusting whatever comes through and taking action on it, then that's how you start to build a strong connection with your guides. You can for sure add modalities. You can pick up a set of oracle cards, the ones that resonate with you, and ask a question and be open to receiving answers that way for sure. And of course, you can do things like book an Akashic reading through me, and there's certainly something I help guide people to do is connect with their guides. But the first thing I would always recommend you do is you trust. Because the other thing that we do is our ego does get in the way. We overthink. For some of us, actually, we fear listening to our messages and connecting with our guides because we know it's going to lead to change. And sometimes we want to keep who we are because we know if we change, then maybe we have to let go of this version of our life. And yes, sometimes we distract ourselves by helping others, by doing other things. And, it's that, again, I always ask in this podcast is, are you prioritizing you? Connecting with your guides, having a strong self-care routine is also important. Time in nature, time in meditation, because what that does, it lowers, it kind of gives you a strong base energy so you can actually listen to your guides. So, trust your intuition, but also have a strong self-care routine. And ask, are you distracting yourself? Are you keeping yourself busy? Are you always there for everybody else, but not allowing yourself to be there for you? You're a soul having a human experience. So you've still got to do the work. You've still got to have the self-care. But it is your expectations again. So it's an interesting journey where you do have to let go of your expectations. You have to leave them at the door. And you have to trust what's coming through, but you still need to do the work to meet the universe halfway by having a strong self-care routine. And like I said, the other thing that stops us from listening to our messages is we want to control things. We can feel change coming. We want a roadmap of what that change looks like. The phase we're in right now is we don't have that control. It is a trustful. Our guides gives us glimpses of what the future may hold, but we've been asked to truly shift our world and look at the noise that's happening on the planet. That noise can consume you. I'm not telling you not to send love where it's needed, but I'm asking you to make sure that you prioritize you. Focus on things that you can change. The other things that we do so often when we kind of thinking about our spiritual journey is we don't trust ourselves because of the past decisions we've made. You are who you are today because of everything you've been through. What if you didn't make a mistake? What if everything that you've done has led you to this point? I really believe that when we're in this planet, everything we're going through, we do it for three main reasons. One is to release karma. And that karma could be something we're carrying from one of our own past lives or ancestral. And I can go deeper than this in the future podcast episode. But karma is such an interesting thing because we do carry past life karma that our soul has chose to release. I also feel like so many of us have chosen to release a lot of ancestral karma. That comes from our paternal or maternal line, which is our masculine or feminine lines, that again, we chose to release. And I do feel like in this lifetime, for many people, we've chosen to release a lot of ancestral karma so the next generation can focus on what they're here to do rather than deal with karma. So I feel like the reason that we feel things at such an intense level is because we are releasing so much ancestral karma too. So if you can accept you're exactly where you're meant to be, because this spiritual journey, I talk about it quite often on this podcast, the first stage is always awareness. So listen to this sort of podcast and being open to what's coming through increases your awareness of who you are and where you're at. Next stage is always acceptance. You have to accept who you are because, again, when you start to become more aware, you start to become aware of everything in the external world is a result of your internal world. You start to judge yourself. Oh, you did the best that you could. You are exactly where you're meant to be. So accept and fall in love with this version of you. And then from there, you can start to truly expand your spiritual journey. You can start to heal. But be warned, once you open that door of awareness, you can't close it. And sometimes we become more aware. All of a sudden, we start to be proud. I'm aware I'm doing this. Oh, great. That's not enough. You have to become aware. You have to accept, and you have to do something different. And we're all going through a shift. We're all going through some kind of rebirth. And again, a lot of people say, well, what does that really mean? What your personal reset and rebirth looks like is really personal to you. But what it looks like is you don't feel connected to your world anymore. The things that you used to enjoy doing, you don't enjoy doing. But there's a restless feeling in you. You can feel things are shifting, but you don't know what it looks like, and you want to know what it looks like. That's what reset rebirth looks like. You're losing friends. You don't feel connected anymore. And what stage you are in this reset rebirth is, again, very personal to you. But everything that's happening has been planned. The timing of the shifts that planet are going through, I feel is divinely planned. I feel like the next 18 months is going to be a lot of chaos. And it is a noisy world, right? There is a lot happening on the planet. Again, I'm not telling you not to send love where you feel it's needed. But I'm asking you not to get too distracted by the noisy world. To focus on you, to connect with your guides, to listen to your messages. And to know you are exactly where you're meant to be and be proud because we've just been through the most intense period I really feel the planet's ever been through. From lockdown, which, from March 2020, it was a big shift for me. This when my mentor, my friend, left this realm, who became one of my spiritual guides, and it really started. This podcast was started by messages from her and me connecting with records. So, I know I've gone through so many shifts over the past nearly 5 years, right? So over 5 years, and it's just take a moment to be proud of how far you've come. Of course, there's still work to be done. There's still healing to be done. That's a lifetime journey. And also commit to not let the outside noise consume you. Because if you do, then what you're doing is you're choosing not to do the healing inside. You're choosing not to connect with your guides. And that is a choice, right? Everyone talks about the shift, ascension, whether you call it shift to third dimension, fifth dimension. Everybody has free will. And I feel like this shift that people are going through, it has to be a choice of focusing on what's happening on the inside. Because everything in your external world is a result of something in your internal world. And I get those words are easy, but I truly believe it, because if you go back to what I was talking about, soul contracts, everyone in your world is completing a soul contract that you asked them to complete. So if you think of yourself as a Disney princess or Disney prince, you're the star of your show. Everyone in your world is playing the roles that you asked them to play. And it means that if there's somebody in your world that's triggering you, then you have to integrate the lesson from that trigger. To be able to integrate the lesson, to be able to move on and complete that soul contract. That's what I mean by doing the internal work is, and actually you have your guides to help you. So this episode is all about listening and trusting to your intuition, but recognizing that everything in your external world is results of in your internal world, accepting you have a set of guides, accepting that you have soul contracts that are coming to an end, and then accepting you have guides that you are sending you more messages now than ever before. It's all part of your reset. If you listen to this episode, then you are meant to build a deeper connection to your guides. And how do you strengthen that connection? Yes, you listen to your intuition. Yes, you you commit to listen to your intuition much more. But like I was talking about earlier, the self-care routine, connecting to you, is also important to kind of build that connection. So you listen to and you can listen to your messages in a much deeper way. And what does that look like? I always recommend time with yourself, time in silence and solitude. I always recommend 3 things when I start working with people. And one of them is 10 minutes silence. Everyone always say, well, I can't sit in silence. I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. But it's a muscle. And you can't it's like you can't go to the gym one time and get a 6-pack. So you have to work at it. So I always recommend for 21 days, 10 minutes silence every morning. And if when you're doing it, if a thought comes in, let it come, let it go. And over time, you'll find that your mind becomes quiet and you can listen to your intuition, your soul in a much deeper way. But silence and solitude, time with you and just being. Breath work. Use the 4-4-4 technique. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. And breathe out for 4 seconds. Breath is prana. It's life force. Meditation. There's so many guided meditations. I have meditations on this podcast. Actually, I'm going to do a meditation at the end. It's a beautiful way to go on a journey, again, to connect with you, making time for you. And there are probably lots of people listening say, I don't have time. Everybody has 10 minutes. So even start with a 10-minute silence. Breath work. Each time you breathe in the way I talk about takes 12 seconds. Doing that 3 or 4 times, anyone is a minute. Obviously you need a break in the middle. So just, you have time to at least do something. I always recommend journaling. That's I said I recommend 3 things. Second thing is journaling. Journaling is a great way of releasing the things that we hold inside, because we're like a volcano. When we go through things, sometimes we push the things inside, especially from a childhood. You have to be able to release it. And obviously working with therapists and working with mentors, etc., helps. But journaling is such a beautiful way of releasing the things you're holding on to. Channeling, automatic writing, once you connect with your guides, having a notebook next to your bed and just automatic writing is a beautiful way to channel. See, where you just start writing. Whatever don't even think about it. Don't process it through your mind. Just write. It's a beautiful way of channeling. It's a beautiful way of building that muscle. And spending time in nature right now and grounding. Such a beautiful thing to do. Walk barefoot on grass, barefoot on the sand if you're close to the beach, in water. Allow Mother Nature to heal you. Feel your connection to you and to Gaia. Nature's such an important. I love spending time in nature. Just stopping and feeling the magic around me and the magic of Mother Earth is so, so important in my world. And as I said earlier, ask for signs. Your guides can only help you if you ask them for help. So it's important that you take time to connect with your guides and you ask them for help. But again, if you ask, let go of how it's going to come through. And maybe do what I do. Just ask your guides every morning to show up and show off. And let them do it. And let go of what that looks like and be open to magic, because sometimes it's our expectation of what magic looks like. It's also our expectations of how all of a sudden we're going to learn our purpose and, we'll get some sort of big epiphany, some flash in the sky, and everything will become clear. It doesn't always work that way. It's a journey. It's a sign. It's different steps you go through. And it's one step at a time. So just magic happens in so many different ways. Magic happens in looking at numbers when you see 111, 222, whatever that may be. And it could be seeing a white feather. It could be having a beautiful conversation with a friend, seeing, having a synchronicity that you couldn't even dream of. And there's so much magic out there. And it's really important that you trust in that magic's going to happen. The other thing is you turn this into a practice. As I said earlier, ask every day, ask every morning, what can I do today to lift my soul? Take moments in the day where you just close your eyes and feel the energy around you. Ask, what do I need to hear today? Build a trust when you're in a voice. Like I said, don't wait for the big answer. So many people, oh my God, when I know what my destiny is, when I know what my purpose is, then I'll start to do this. What if your destiny, your purpose is multiple things? What if right now your destiny is to just keep showing up in whatever way you need to? Because how often do we wait for things? The only thing we really control is this moment. You can't change the past unless you've got a time machine. And if you have, please let me know. And the future, how much control do we really have? Look at what's happened over the past few years. It couldn't have been predicted, but you have control of this moment. What's your intention in this moment? Stop waiting. Stop waiting for a big answer. Stop waiting for some sort of breakthrough. Again, if you're listening to this episode, you do have guides and you are receiving messages. You're here for a reason. Can you trust that? So as I said, my intention was to take you through a meditation to connect you with some of your guides. It'll be a short meditation. And if you're driving and you can't stop and connect, then, maybe pause now and go back to this episode. You can do this meditation as often as you can. I'll include in the show notes, where I start the meditation, so you can just jump straight to the meditation if you wish. So yeah, if you're in a position to, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a breath out. Take another really deep breath in and a breath out. And just take a moment just to center yourself. Feel your energy, feel your vibration, feel your soul. Take a moment just to feel the energy around you. Take a moment to be proud of who you are. And from this space, just imagine you're in a beautiful bubble. The bubble is full of light. It's surrounding you. Such a beautiful, loving light. Just allow that light to come into you through your crown, which is the top of your head, and wash over you like a wave, going from the top of your head to your feet, going from your crown to your third eye, which is your forehead, to your throat, to your heart, to your stomach, solar, sacral, base, your legs, your feet, your toes, your arms, your hands, your fingers. Feel every part of you being completely filled with beautiful white light. Feel that light extending outside of your body and cleansing your aura. And from this space, I call in our guides, our soul family, any ascended masters, any archangels, any high level beings, any ancestors, any past lives. I ask you to form a circle around us. I ask you to guide us through this meditation, to feel your energy. I ask you to magnify your energy, magnify your love. I ask for any message to be sent with clarity, ease, and grace. Just take a moment just to feel the energy around you. Can you feel anything different around you? Maybe you feel hot or cold, or maybe you feel a tingle. Maybe you feel the love that's coming from your guides. Be open to feeling something different. Just take a moment just to feel the energy and the vibration around you. And from this space, I ask your guides to take a step back. Again, just feel like what that feels like. And from this space, I ask one of your guides to step forward, to step in front of you. I ask that guide to come closer. I ask the guide that's in front of you to magnify their energy so you feel it. And I ask you to open your heart to truly feel what's in front of you. Maybe you feel something. Maybe you see something. Maybe you hear something. Just feel the energy of the guide that's in front of you. This guide has a message. I ask this guide to transmit me this message right now. If you see something, I ask your third eye to open, to be given the gift of sight, to see the guide that's in front of you. This guide wants to share a name. Please share it now. Be open to feeling that feeling. Recognize the energy that you feel. If you see something, if you hear something, then remember what that feels like. Because then remember when this guide's in front of you next time. I'm going to ask this guide to take a step back. Now I'm going to ask for an ancestor that specifically wants to connect with you and share a message. This could be a loved one that you've known in this realm that's no longer in this realm. It could be an ancestor you never met. Again, I'm going to ask this ancestor to step forward right in front of you. I'm going to ask the guide that was there before to take a step back. I'm going to ask this ancestor to step forward. Like I said, it could be a loved one that you knew in the human realm, or maybe it's an ancestor you never met. Again, I ask you to be open to truly feel the ancestor that's in front of you. It could be a loved one, like I said, a parent, grandparent. Be open to feeling that ancestor. And remember that sometimes your loved ones, when they leave the human realm, their energy is different. So feel what you feel and trust who you feel that ancestor is if you feel like you know them. Get used to what this energy feels like. If you've seen something, see it. If you feel it, feel it. If you hear something, hear it. At this time, I ask your ancestor in front of you to have a message, to translate that message, to share it with you. And again, maybe you hear something, maybe you feel something. Maybe the message is just, I love you. Allow yourself to feel it. Again, I ask this ancestor to take a step back. This time I ask another guide, maybe an angelic guide, maybe an ascended master, maybe an archangel. Whichever guide wants to show up. Could be Archangel Michael, Uriel, Raphael, could be Mother Mary, Jesus, Buddha. Could be one of your angels. I ask this guide to step in front of you, to magnify their energy, magnify their love. I ask you to open your heart to truly feel their love. I ask you to commit to allow this ascended being to guide you through this next phase. I ask you to open your heart to truly either see, hear, or feel anything you need to from this guide. Maybe there's a name. Maybe there's a message. Maybe there's just unconditional love. Maybe this guide is meant to guide you through this next phase of your journey. Feel it again. Remember this energy. Remember this vibration. And now I ask all your guides to step back in, to feel their vibration, to feel their energy. I ask and request for you to be able to visit this space again in your waking hours, in your dreams, in your meditation, whenever you wish. Again, just take a moment just to feel your guides. I thank your guides for this journey. I thank you guys for showing up. I thank my guides for guiding me through this meditation. I ask for you to remember this journey, this meditation, everything you received in all four of your bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I ask you to integrate any lessons, any gifts with ease and grace. Any healing that's required, I ask your healing team to step in to heal you with ease and grace. From this space, I ask you to come back. Taking a deep breath in and a breath out. Become present in your physical body. Pat your arms and your legs. Giving yourself a moment just to come back. I would love to get feedback on that meditation. How did you feel? Did you feel a connection to your guides? You know, one of the things I never talked about, and I'll talk about in future episodes, is we have so many different types of guides. Some of them have had the human experience. Some of them haven't. Sometimes our loved ones do turn into our guides, but not always. That doesn't mean that our loved ones aren't around us and watching over us. It just means that they're there holding space. They're there sending love. Always remember that the energy of a loved one when they leave this realm and the transition could feel they're very different. I had the same experience with my dad's energy. He left this realm, more than 30 years ago. And when he was in this realm, he was always helping people. He was always there for everybody else. And there was just a feeling that because I felt him ascend, and because I felt he knew he ascended, I felt he was busy helping other souls and he wasn't near me. But it's just over the last few years, I've learned and realized that the reason, and I haven't felt his energy coming in or out, because his energy is different. Yes, he's ascended, so his vibration is different. But also, I couldn't feel him coming in and out because he's always with me. So his energy and his vibration is not coming in and out. So be open to your loved ones' energy being different. Be open to them becoming guides. Like my dad's one of my guides, but not always. But be open to talking to your loved ones and feeling the energy and the vibration and trusting they're there. Be open to your guides just coming in so many different ways. Sometimes, we go through a phase of listening to our intuition and knowing our messages, but also we go through a phase where we feel like our guides are gone quiet. Our guides never go quiet, but when you're going through some shift, your connection to them changes. And sometimes it's your expectations. And yes, sometimes you need to have a human experience that's going to expand you. But that experience may feel like you're on your own. But even through that, there's an element of needing to trust that your guides are there. And through this journey, I really do. My final message to this is your intuition is never gone. It's always there. The more you trust it, and the more you follow it, the more you take action on it, the more louder it becomes. The more you start to build a stronger connection with your guides. You are guided. You're very much loved. And you're never alone. And I get this human journey sometimes can be really lonely. You can be surrounded by people and not be alone, but feel lonely. But your guides are always there. And again, it's easy for me to say, but you're never alone. And you're needed and you're wanted and you chose to be here. Again, easy words, but please listen to me. The planet needs you. You need you. Your guides need you. Nothing is missing. You're exactly where you're meant to be. If you feel like I can support in any way, book a discovery call. Maybe the mentorship can help you. Maybe book an Akashic record reading. Send me a message. Send me a DM. Give me some feedback. Me and Stacey have a monthly webinar where we have a conscious conversation. I'll do a guided meditation at that time. It's always around the full moon, so the next one's going to be on May the 12th. I'll include links in future show notes. We also have an online event coming up on June the 1st. It's going to be for 5 hours, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time, and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. It's only going to be $25. It's 5 hours of healing. Again, I'll include the link and everything you need in the next episode, but I just wanted to share. But again, I repeat, you're needed, you're wanted, you have guides, you're receiving your intuition. If you're listening to this and saying, well, he's not talking to me, he's talking to other people, I am talking to you. I'm exactly talking to you. You are very much loved, you're very much needed, and you're here for a reason. Your guides guided you to this podcast. So trust in the messages. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. Sending you so much love and light. Bye for now.